Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Phoenix International Raceway. My name is Frank Marchese. Thank you very much for joining us here this evening for the second Top Fuel Indycar Series race of this 11th season for the series. Joining me tonight in the booth is Tyler Vickery and Tony Trapasso. Guys, how are you doing tonight? So, it's definitely, especially the start of this brand new season last week. As we take a look at our little bit of our race preview and our race info screen here as practice comes to an end. The Discount Nutrition Rock Hard 175 rather. Uh, Getting ready to go here. We're about to start qualifying here. Last week's winner, Jeff Hollingsworth. We will grab his camera here in just a moment. Uh, Definitely looking for a lot of high intensity action here tonight as you see times starting to come up on the board. Dan Brazington coming away with his first time. Kevin O'Brien then seeds him. Uh, Michael Sturgill, then Ernie Ludwig now setting times. But guys, one of the big things that happened at the end of last season going into this season now at the start was and a big change by iRacing, allowing the guys to make changes during the races on these fixed setups. So how is that going to be a major factor in this season? Yeah. tell you one guy who has gotten a lot of speed out of his car is last week's winner, Jeff Hollingsworth, who now sits at the top of the timing pylon at a 20.110. We're looking at Carl Burke on our screen right now. He's the only other driver out on the circuit right now as he's coming across the line, well, about to come across the line here. And this lap time is going to be, actually, I don't think it counted, actually. Oh, he had brushed the wall, so that was... Okay, I don't know why that's happening. I, I I honestly do not. I honestly do not know why that's happening. We do apologize here for some of the technical difficulties that we are facing here this evening, trying to give you the best race we possibly can, and sometimes these things do happen. As Nate Siefker is on track right now, looking to set a time. We've only got about a minute left in this qualifying session. Yes, I am back. Got about a minute left here in this qualifying session. Siefker is going to put in his first time. It is going to go right to the top of the board. Yeah, there's a little inside baseball story to go on with that. Well, there you go. So, oh, there goes Scott Brinson around. Scott Brinson backs it into the wall after putting in his first lap at a P5, and that'll end it for qualifying. And that's how. So, with that, qualifying being over now, let's take a look at our starting grid here for the Discount Nutrition Rock Hard 175. It'll be Nate Siefker leading Ronnie Osmer, Butch Davis, last week's winner, Jeff Hollingsworth, Scott Brinson, Luis Nunez, Timothy Bates, Paul Crumry, Michael Sturgill, and Jeff Wubker will be the top 10, Tyler. Yes, but also one thing I'm noticing here, if you look from first to 14th position, all within 4/10 of a second of each other. So this is going to be a very highly competitive, very closely run race, and I'm sure we are all excited for it. So as we get to green, you just saw the grid. As we look down now upon this grid, I would like to mention our title sponsor for this evening. It is Discount Nutrition, established in 1996. We would like to thank you for sponsoring this evening's race, and I hope we put a good show on for you guys. And with the competition in this field, I am sure that we will. Thank you very much, Tony. As coming out of turn number 4, and we are green here for race number 2 of the Top Fuel season here on ESPN. Yeah, we do have a car around. That's Kevin O'Brien in the back, and the caution flag has flown here early on as we'll try to look back. There he is, Kevin O'Brien. Let's see if we can look back and find what happened to him here. And unfortunately, a self-inflicted sending to the back there, as we have a couple of guys going through pit lane here, as it'll be Mark McFadden and Mark Robertson are in the lane. I do apologize if there are some of the timing and scoring, a little bit of an issue with timing and scoring, as you see Siefker and Osmer falling down the timing tree. That just means on my end that they're experiencing a little bit of a lag issue, and they'll pop right back up. So they're not necessarily out of the race. I'm sure we'll see them pop up into position as soon as iRacing and the connection sorts itself out. And he's leading it now, as well as and Ronnie Osmer sitting behind him after that start to the race. Again, only one corner. Now, the inside, the apron, is typically a place you can run around here, but on cold tires and after this remodel, it's a little bit more gutsy to do it in turn one than it has been in years past. It Yeah, and that go ahead. So as I believe we might have about 2 laps to go here before we get back to green. Not much happened at the beginning of the race here. Nate Stiefker, Ronnie Osmer, Butch Davis, Jeff Hollingsworth, and Luis Nunez are still your top five. Nunez and Brinson were able to switch places after that restart and going through one and going into the dog leg before the caution eventually came out. So I'm now assuming that unless that wasn't an accident, if that was intentional, I'm sure we're not going to be seeing too many guys try the apron in turn one as we get set to go back racing here. And that's a veteran move to try to keep that car down. You hear a lot of guys, especially running through fixed and open races, just out on iRacing for official races. You always hear them lock the brakes down. Sometimes that's not always the best case, is the best thing to do. Green going into one. There is Ronnie Osmer. Not really getting too good of a start there, but these two right here, Hollingsworth and Davis, battling as it's side by side pretty much through the rest of this field as we head through turn one and finally complete our first lap under anger as we start lap 8 here at Phoenix. There's Paul Crumry on that outside line, getting a little bit of a slingshot there as he makes his way and settles into P7, now getting his sights set on P6. Davis and Nunez, and yes, that is Brinson actually a little bit further up the field here as Davis holding on to that fourth position as now Brinson now coming under fire from Nunez. Early on. Oh, yes, we are. As that looks to be a an issue here. Yeah, Lordshire. Yeah, Cal Lordshire. So, not sure as to what he came into the pits for. I did see that he was going into the pits, a 42-second pit stop, as we see some guys faking. Okay. So we saw a couple of guys there fake entry into pit lane. Now, I'm not sure. What is, Tony? I'm pretty sure you know. What is the tire limit, or is there a tire limit here for this race? Okay. Okay, so that definitely makes it interesting as far as when you want to get damage fixed, but that kind of takes the tire strategy out of it, and that's something that people here on iRacing do know very well. Is you take tires every chance you get, but especially a place like this, track position being so important. Uh, we do have a couple of guys in the pits though. Kevin O'Brien servicing his car in the pit lane. Sam Cooper Bennett is in the pits as well. Mark Robertson, you see him leaving in that neon green machine. So a couple of guys do decide to come into pit lane here to try to top off. That's some more guys coming into pit lane there. Now you see Johnny Antonucci on the screen. A couple of other guys. Carl Burks just looking to top off on fuel here as we get set to go back racing here up at the front of the field. Still the same. Nate Siefker, Ronnie Osmer leading the fields as we get set to go back under green here. About to start lap number 16 of this. Oh, I believe. Yeah, that's what was confusing me there. I saw them start to double up, and I thought they were coming off. I was just surprised, I think, as anyone there that the pace truck didn't come off. So getting set once again, we're sitting at Nate Siefker, Ronnie Osmer, Jeff Hollingsworth, Butch Davis, Scott Brinson is going to be the top five as the pace truck leads the field here through corner numbers 3 and 4 to get this race started once again. Tyler, I think it's your turn to take us away. Another caution coming out here. Not quite sure as to the cause of this one. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of things happening here with O'Brien and Carl Burke back there as well. Maybe one of them spun the tires as there's O'Brien's damaged machine. Yeah, we'll get to this replay here right now as to what happened. Looking here, trying to find this replay out here. Oh, yeah, that one was a big one right there. It was. It's going through our screen here. And that's part of the problem when you say, oh, a big stop there. I'm not sure who that was. That might have been McFadden, whoever that white car was there in front of Kevin O'Brien. Wow, Sam just stomped the brakes there. Not sure what would have facilitated that. And you could see the damage here. We'll try to get a better view of this. But you can see the rear damage on the on that number 2 of Sam Cooper Bennett. As that wing is folded up, the engine cover gone off of that number 2, so he has some big issues here as we get back here. Yes, it was. Yeah, you kind of had a feeling. We saw as the caution comes out once again here, we saw that Sam had all that rear end damage. We highlighted it just before the green flag came out, and he's lost the back end of that car completely now. As we'll take a look at what happened here to Sam. Yeah, it's just. Yes, and that's if you want to know why these cars have rear wings and why they're so important and why they don't race without them. As you saw Sam spinning there, that's exactly why. You need that big rear wing to plant the back end of that car down, and that's exactly what Sam did not have there as he's going to take his fast repair. Yes, it was. Well, I mean, never mind the fact he didn't have a rear wing, but so this is, I believe, caution number 4 here at the beginning of this race here. We're only on lap 22, or starting lap 22. So let's just quickly go through the field here. None of these guys have come into pit yet. So we will go through the field as Nate Siefker in the lead, followed by second place Ronnie Osmer, where they have been since the start of this race. Beyond that, though, we start changing it around as Jeff Hollingsworth started in P5, I believe. P4, so he's up there now. He's up to P3. Now Butch Davis running in fourth. Scott Brinson running in P5 is Luis Nunez. Running in P6. Caught me off guard. I wasn't expecting to see a driver photo there. This is Kieran Bergelli sitting there in 7th position. P8 currently held by Michael Sturgill. P9, there you see Timothy Bates in that purple and green number 5. And then rounding out the top 10 is going to be Jeff Wubker, who I believe had set the best time in practice, did Jeff Wubker. Yeah, hopefully so. I mean, this is a track, especially in these cars, with how quick these guys can go around here, that does provide a lot of fantastic racing as we sit now at the front of the field here under this caution flag. Once again, I think we'll throw to the sponsor one more time here. Our sponsor for the race here this evening, it is Discount Nutrition. Thank you very much for sponsoring this race here this evening. Tony, what was the website again for Discount Nutrition? So dncsupplements.com, your place to go here for the proud title sponsor. Well, there's your benefit right there. Our proud title sponsor tonight, and I'm sure we'll be making you guys proud here momentarily. We'll see. Where is old Dan Brazington? There he is. Right there on the outside lane there. So as we get back to the start of this race, once again, we're about to come on lap number 25 here as we get set to restart. Once again, Nate Siefker leading from Ronnie Osmer, and we are back underway again here at Phoenix. Yeah, there's a lot of action going on here in the midfield. I believe that's Sturgill moving up. I'm sorry. Yes, you're right. Yes. Yeah, you are 100% right there. As Nate Siefker pulling out to a sizable margin over Ronnie Osmer as we continue to look at this battle here in the midfield, as there goes Luis Nunez one more time onto the inside. Could not get the move done as Sturgill holding P6, trying to now put the attack onto Butch Davis. There, the car in front of him. You're watching this battle here. This is the battle for 5th position as Butch Davis, Sturgill, Nunez Brugnelli still a little bit behind this little trio here. Out front, you're not missing anything. You see the lap times ticking by. They'll hang out there for a couple seconds so you guys can see who is quicker where. As Nate Siefker is pulled out to a 1-second lead on Ronnie Osmer, as Sturgill looks to the inside of Butch Davis and could not get the move done. Here's this being our closest battle on circuit. Running. Timothy Bates, as you were describing that, very good descriptor, by the way. Timothy Bates getting around Chris Walker, and we were riding on board there with Michael Sturgill for a couple laps, and you could just see how bad that aero push is with these guys, with how hard, how much he had to let off there coming out of that turn. I believe Chris Walker might have tapped the wall out of 4. Ronnie Osmer, that's our second place runner, and he is stopped down at the start finish line. Yeah, Osmer must have had a big moment coming out of turn 4, and we're gonna get it. We're gonna get it. We're gonna get that to you here just now. But a big moment for Ronnie Osmer, and here it is. Coming through 3 and 4. Ooh. And could that have been, I would assume, just by looking at it, that was a case of him just putting the power down too soon and trying to get it off the corner as quickly as he possibly could, as we've got lead lap cars coming into the pit lane here, as you see the entire group led by Nate Siefker, as we'll take you through the pit stops here. A couple of guys deciding to stay out. And good luck on Sam there. You see the pit times running across your screen there as there's one car goes spinning. Yep, and that's what tends to happen. And that's what tends to happen when you've got the foot mashed all the way down, coming out of pit lane and coming off of the limiter. As there you see Carl Burke on your screen. Not that I haven't seen any damage on his car. We were just looking. Might have bumped the tire into that wall, but beyond that, that was it. And if he did, it wasn't a big touch. One, well, it was two until just that moment there when I believe that was Ludwig decided to come in. Yes, Ernie Ludwig in pit lane now. But the man on screen right now, Paul Crumry, the only one that decided not to pit under this caution. He will lead Nate Siefker to the line. The car in front, I believe, will be a wave around. Yeah, safety car is in this time, and I think that's what Tony's being the race control here tonight. I think he was telling the wave around car to actually go. Yes. Wow, Paul Crumry got one heck of a jump on Nate Siefker. I was going to mention that is that Crumry gave Siefker the line he wanted, which was that outside line, and was that going to hurt him? Clearly, with that start, it certainly didn't. You see how long these guys have been on that set of tires. Crumry has only come in for a fuel stop, so he's on the same tires that he started the race on, as you see that graphic there on the bottom of the screen. So he is holding them off on 44 lap old tires. Everyone else is on a brand new set. But then yeah, Jeff Hollingsworth, the winner last week at Homestead Miami Speedway, he is under Nate Siefker trying to take that second spot away. And boy, Siefker got one heck of a run coming out of turn 4 and just about got pushed into the wall by Crumry. And there he goes to the inside. And looking back further through the field, Paul Crumry now starting to make that descent down to the bottom of the field here, currently running in P8. As you see the battle between Kieran Brugnelli and Butch Davis up in front of him start to heat up, and now Davis lays claim to that spot, and Brugnelli's still Crumry, pardon me, still falling backwards. This the lucky strike car upside down there. Dan Brazington involved there. Ronnie Osmer with damage as well. There was a big incident there, and we'll take a look here at just exactly what happened on this one. I think it might have started with Timothy Bates here as we look back. Ooh, that was... So we're going to try to get a better replay here as we look now at Timothy Bates. Yep, there, you're right. Walker just, oh wow, Bates almost had it woed up and just needed a wing change, and then a couple of guys come in behind him, and there goes that. I'm showing you guys as being on. You guys are moving the meter. We lost sound again. We do apologize for the technical difficulties here this evening. Just one moment as we try to solve these if we can. Once again, we do apologize for the technical difficulties that we are facing here this evening. Just to be painfully honest, this is my first broadcast at the helm, producing, running the cameras, running the graphics, and actually and hosting the stream. So there are, thank you very much, but there are still a couple little kinks here and there that do need to work out, and hopefully this will get better since I will be doing this for the remainder of the Top Fuel season. I'd like to thank, yes, thank you very much, and I would like to thank Tony and Sam Cooper Bennett as well for allowing me and trusting me enough to come on and do this. As I don't think I do that enough, so I do want to thank you guys for bringing me on board and allowing me to broadcast these races with you guys. I really do appreciate it. So as we get ready to go back racing here, you saw the graphic on the screen there. Safety car is going to be in the safety truck, rather, is going to be in this lap. We're going to go back to green flag racing. Nate Siefker leading Jeff Hollingsworth to the line, and a good jump there from Nate Siefker once again as he gets his race started off. But once again, the race is going to be behind him. It's going to be between Hollingsworth and Nunez. Butch Davis back here as well, as he has been mired in battles all night long. He's trying to fight off Sturgill again. As Sturgill looks to the outside of turn 3, he's going to have that momentum. He's going to sail right on by Butch Davis there in that STP Dallara. You we as we ride on board here with Butch Davis, just falling a little bit further behind Sturgill as we continue on through here. Working now on lap 63. Nothing much going on up front as Nate Siefker leading Jeff Hollingsworth. There you see him as we... Yes. You could see, and yes, that is, I mean, John Andretti was, you wouldn't have known it from his NASCAR time, although I believe he did have a win at Martinsville in 1998. At least that's the only one that springs to mind. But a very, very accomplished Indy driver as well was John Andretti, and he will definitely be be greatly missed. Yes. He's certainly absolutely will be as we get back to the circuit. This is probably the closest battle that we have here, and you can see it's about a 7/10 gap. There is one Mr. Michael Sturgill up 4 positions from his starting position, running right now in 5th position, about 7/10 of a second off of Brinson and holding. Just looking at the lap time history, they're trading laps faster than each other. We are under caution. See if we can find Kevin O'Brien. Yeah, you see him. Yeah, you see him sliding it. Ooh, actually rides the wall a little bit. So there is once again, and that shouldn't be too bad. I mean, that's just a wing replacement. Shouldn't necessarily need a fast repair. Ernie Ludwig's plan and strategy this time of staying out and leading a lap is going to actually pay off for him, as Siefker is going to win the race off of pit road, beating Nunez, who takes over what will be effectively the 3rd position as we get set to go back to racing. He might have actually gotten a penalty as he falls off. I mean, that would be less than ideal. Not too many pit stalls. There are settings within iRacing that you can turn on and off that allow you to run through as many pit stalls as you possibly can, or that can only allow you to run through a certain amount. I believe in, just for example, NASCAR, real life NASCAR, I believe you can only run through 2 pit stalls, 3 pit stalls. And that's one of the things that one of the attractive things for doing that is not everyone stays in a single file line on pit lane. So as the cars start to converge and start to dive into the pits, with the cars on pit lane staggered the way they are, you can make contact while you're in the lane, but you cannot make contact with another car while you're in the pit boxes. So a, a chance at self-preservation, I guess you would say, or a tactic or a strategy in self-preservation turns out to be an end-of-the-line penalty for Luis Nunez, who has a quick car, so I would be very interested to see how quickly he moves up this field. There is on screen right now Sam Cooper Bennett. Usually you hear him up in the booth. You will hear him in the booth, I know, tomorrow night for certain with me and possibly Tony for the Die Hard Racing Series, the Die Hard Throwback Series, right here on ESPN. So Sam sitting currently in P10 right now after starting stone dead last on the field. He's been working his way up. He had that big moment accordioning the field up and then spinning out to cause the next caution. But other than that, Sam has had a very quiet race, just moving his way up through the field. Nate Siefker choosing the inside lane here on this restart and gets a big jump as well on Hollingsworth and Sturgill as Sturgill goes to the inside of Hollingsworth going into turn one. And this is, if you want to make a move, this is usually when you want to do it. You have nobody in front of you to take the air off. First lap, you're right here with them. Go for it. And Brugnelli up there in that that ruby red machine. That was a caution is out again. A big, wow, that's Sturgill flipping. We just caught the back end of that. And oh my goodness. We're definitely going to have to see what happened here because we were just mentioning how close those guys were getting coming out of the turn. And you can see the back end with Sturgill. As we take a look at Sturgill's replay of this, spins up to the outside wall, gets hit by two guys, gets hit by Banks, and I believe we'll take one more replay from if you we were just looking at Sturgill, and if you want to go upside down, if you want to know what it's like to go upside down in an Indycar, that's what it's like. Wow, Davis just did get through that. My goodness. Butch Davis, a lucky boy there. I was trying to look up, trying to find the name. I believe it was Crumry. Paul Crumry was the one that, yeah, and there's Crumry in the pits. There's Paul Crumry that, I'm sorry, names are escaping me here. It was Sturgill. So that would be Sturgill done. And it was Sturgill was the name that I was blanking on there that Crumry had hit. Sturgill was up at the front for a majority of the race, as well as Ronnie Osmer. He's still mired back there. Carl Burke actually came in into the pit lane as we were discussing that Sturgill the iRacing glitch that has ended Sturgill's night. Safety truck in this lap as we start to double up, and once again Nate Siefker taking the inside. So I guess he must have liked something about that inside line when Paul Crumry had put him down there for that one restart. Yeah, no, but Hollingsworth has got a nice little run back in as we slide on back to Hollingsworth there. It was not nearly as bad, though, as we've seen. He had a decent run compared to some of the starts we've seen him have. His back end gone, front end gone as well on that Dallara. As we will now take a look at what happened here to Brunelli. Brighelli, sorry. Yeah. And that's a spin that you'd normally see take a guy out in a stock car. That's one of those very you just put the front bumper to him, and unfortunately, I mean these open wheel cars obviously don't have bumpers, but those wrecks still do happen in these open wheel cars, and unfortunately, it was between Crumry and Brughelli this time. just we had just caught that as we had switched to some of the cars coming out. Sam Cooper Bennett doing what we've seen it once already. And he was running in fifth when the caution had come out. So, I mean, you knew he was going to lose a decent amount of positions, but right now he's fallen back to 14th position. Well, now he's going up to 12th as a couple of other guys are making their way into the pit lane. Yeah, we're showing him in P11 as well. Yes, he will be. He's had a pretty nice run on the inside lane. I wouldn't be too surprised if he goes for that, and that would definitely open the door up for Butch Davis, who's now going to get that third place start. So look for him, and also up here through the field, sitting in P4 right now is Timothy Bates. We saw him in the mid pack earlier in this race, involved in one of the wrecks here tonight. And now he has moved his way back up into P4 as we highlight Timothy Bates on screen. That end of the line penalty. Safety truck in this lap. As we get set to go, we will restart on lap number 91 of 175 laps here this evening. As once again, Nate Siefker will choose that inside lane. Jeff Hollingsworth on the outside. Butch Davis on the inside of the second row. On the outside is Timothy Bates. As we get set to go racing once again here from the Phoenix International Raceway, and Siefker is off again, and then as we thought, Butch Davis is right on the inside to attack. Oh, there they go. And Nunez ends up parking it. And again, you saw we've been talking about it all throughout the broadcast as we go to the replay. We've been talking about it all throughout the broadcast, that arrow push, and that looks exactly to be what happened. Oh, maybe not, actually, as Nunez might have thought he was clear, and he wasn't. A lot of decent cars caught up in that. Davis missing the left front of his wing. Scott Brinson missing the right front of his wing. So a bunch of guys coming down pit road, as you see the two on screen right now that we just mentioned, Davis and Brinson in pit lane. You saw also sitting there in pit lane, Ronnie Osmer still sitting in pit lane. Oh, Butch Davis goes around. See, it's nice sometimes when you just leave the camera on somebody and something just happens. So as we get set to begin lap number 95 under caution, let's reset the field here for you. Nate Siefker, who has been leading a vast majority of this race, has the lead right now. Behind him is last week's winner, Jeff Hollingsworth, sitting in second position. Sitting in third is Timothy Bates, as we mentioned, moving up through the field under the last caution period. Jeff Wubker, again, as we mentioned, the fastest car during practice, is now moving up to the outside lane, restarting in P4 here. He's been in a couple of instances tonight that's made his night a little bit more difficult than I'm sure he wants it to be. Paul Crumry will be restarting in fifth position. Sixth position will find Carl Burks, as the safety truck is not going to be in this lap. Sam Cooper Bennett in seventh position. Behind him is Chris Walker. After that, we'll find Karen Brigelli. And then Butch Davis will round out the top 10 with Scott Brinson behind him. Mark McFadden, who we haven't mentioned at all this evening here. There's Mark McFadden right there. Started in the 18th position up to P12. Ernie Ludwig, Mark Robertson, Kevin O'Brien, Johnny Antonucci, the last car on the lead lap. Raul Alvarez, Luis Gonzalez Nunez, are no longer our lap down. Dan Brazington, as you mentioned, Michael Sturgill off the lead lap as well as Cal Locher is off the lead lap as well, as we get set to resume action here from Phoenix International Raceway. About to start lap number 97 as Siefker chooses the inside again. Watch for third place Timothy Bates, as he's going to have that hole open, and there we go. Bates, unlike the last two restarts, has not been able to put the pressure on, but he's got plenty of pressure being put on him in the form of Jeff Wubker. Yeah, Butch Davis put a slide on him. Brinson now sliding up, as you're right, Tony. They're three wide going through the corner, now giving themselves plenty of room, as that is Sam Cooper Bennett now falling in behind Butch Davis. Honestly, from what I was just about to say, it looks more like Sam's just trying to get out of the way than anything. Chris Walker in the fight with Butch Davis and Paul Crumry. And look at Brinson now getting his white nose machine involved in this. Yeah, and that's going to allow Scott Brinson down to the inside of Butch Davis. Here as these two battle side by side once again. Brinson starts to push up, Bolt gets off the gas, and now Butch Davis off and running, and that brings Brinson under fire from Bergelli. And Dan Brazington there, you see him sitting in pit lane after his most recent incident. And I believe Sam Cooper Bennett as well has had an issue. Let's see here. Oh, yeah, that might. Oh, what in the world was that? Yeah, Sam Cooper. Oh, wow. Sam Cooper Bennett had gotten pushed into turn one, and then just an innocent bystander. Here comes Kevin O'Brien on the outside as Bennett has the car roll up, and into the wall goes O'Brien. And we have some pit strategy playing out as some of the top runners deciding to stay out, others being led by last week's winner Hollingsworth deciding to come in. Not sure. Let's take a look up at Paul Crumry. Doesn't appear to have any damage on that car. As we'll take a quick little look. And just a four-corner check on Crumry reveals no damage. And on screen there you see the stint time that these guys have spent on their respective sets of tires. Siefker and Wubker. Siefker's done 34 laps on his current set, 33 laps for Wubker, 34 for Burke, who's on his third different set of rubber from the one he started his race on. So there's a look at where the top 8 find themselves as far as tire strategy goes. So if that is the case, we will be restarting on lap 109 of 175 here this evening. Not too many green flag runs. We've had a lot of spectacular incidences at that, but a lot of incidences nonetheless here this evening, and that is the case. We will restart on lap 109. Nate Siefker, Jeff Wubker, Carl Burke, Scott Brinson, Karen Brigelli deciding not to pit, and that is your top five. Jeff Hollingsworth, the first of the guys who did come into pit. He's followed by Timothy Bates, Paul Crumry, Chris Walker, and Butch Davis. That will round out the top 10 as we get set to restart here at Phoenix. Pace truck going through turns 3 and 4 at the moment, and you can see that outside line already starting to bunch up just a little bit. And Wubker trying to see the jump that Siefker gets, and it doesn't seem to matter. Brigelli trying to find him. There he is. There's Kieran Brigelli sitting on his own. Yes, he will. And Kieran Brigelli's going to follow through. And boy, if you looked in the back there, Butch Davis and Paul Crumry almost had a coming together between the two coming off of 4. Yeah, we've... A big push up from Davis as Crumry gets through. And another caution. Yeah, it is Mark Robertson. Let's see what we can see here. He just stops in 1 and 2. Yeah. Yeah, Robertson, and it was Robertson running into the back of Sam Cooper Bennett that had caused the last caution. And now once again here, Robertson essentially stopping in the middle of 1 and 2, and Ernie Ludwig running into the back of him. There's Jeff Wubker in pit lane as he is now serviced and gone. As we continue to look through the field, as Scott Brinson, this is the highest he's been all night, currently sitting in the third position. Oh, it's the second position, pardon me. Again, one of the guys that did not take tires under the last pit stop, or under the last caution, or this one for that matter. Jeff Hollingsworth, the first on the freshest tires, is behind him in the number 97. I'd like to take this time once again to acknowledge our sponsor and our title sponsor for the race here this evening, Discount Nutrition, established in 1996. I believe it was, what was it? It was dnsupplements.com, I believe it was. Believe it was, yeah, Tony. Yeah, well, once Tony comes back in from the race control room and back into the booth, um, we can get you the website there. But thank you very much to Discount Nutrition for sponsoring us here this evening for race number 2 of the 11th season of the Top Fuel IndyCar series, and a majority of these 11 seasons being broadcast to you right here on ESPN. Tony, I'm going to need your. Oh, 3 years. Okay. So not a majority, but the last 3 years, and it's been a very good 3 years that we have been partnered. Oh, okay. So 3 calendar years. Okay, so still a majority. Uh, okay, and then again, Tony, I'm going to need your services one more time. What was the website for Discount Nutrition? DNC. Thank you very much, Tony. As we get set to restart here, I believe we're coming down to 1 to go. I'm sure we'll get the blip on the screen here momentarily. Yep, there it is. As the safety car will be coming in this lap, we will be restarting on lap 118 of 175. As this has been, it's been quite an entertaining race if you're into a lot of incidences. We have seen some good track battles as well, but it's lucky you. That or you have a serious tolerance for alcohol. And it's speaking of a serious tolerance for alcohol, as Nate Siefker will once again lead them down. He has yet to have had a bottle of Gatorade poured on him tonight, as he's continuing right where he left off. By dominating this race here this evening. Scott Brinson to his outside. It's not going to matter because Siefker is off and running once again. Boy, Holling, yeah. Hollingsworth definitely getting a little bit crazy there as we show you not just the gap to each other. Is a nice, interesting run there. Yeah, that got really close going into turn 1 there. Yeah, no, we've seen guys able to use that momentum and take it around the outside coming through 3 and 4, just like Krumrye did there. But you lose it down here in 1 and 2 if you can't get the move completed. As these two running side by side, this is a battle for 7th, a battle that Paul Krumrye will win. And Antonucci, right here, as we're highlighting him on our screen, just ran his best lap of the race, a 20.717, as he looks to try to hunt down Timothy Bates there in that orange and purple, that orange. My goodness, that green and purple machine. I know my colors, I promise. As these two now start. Right now you see on screen the time delta between second and third place Brinson and Brigelli, as Brinson pulling out just a little bit every single lap on Brigelli, and Brigelli, as you mentioned, coming under fire behind him from Hollingsworth. Now, Hollingsworth has the best tires of anyone up here in this group, and now he's starting to fall behind as we take a look at the last 5 laps. He has been steadily losing just a little tiny bit. I'm sorry, that's to Walker. I apologize. Oh, that's that's Sam Cooper Bennett. Yeah, that's Sam Cooper Bennett, as you see right there on your screen. He is slow now as he allows Walker and Davis buys. Looks to be, might be a little bit of damage on that right rear. And we're also seeing a little bit of there's the left rear damage that you were talking about. He also has, oh no, I guess, yeah, no, that looked like, and for those of you wondering, that's what the rear is supposed to look like. And right here is what the rear does look like for Sam Cooper Bennett on that left side. So that is a major aerodynamic disadvantage as he's actually going to get hit and spun around here by the 13. That was Burke, and the caution is out again. It was Burke that had gotten into the back end of Sam. Let's see here. You're right. You're right. It was Antonucci. You're 100% right. Let's see if we can see here with. Oh, wow. And Antonucci actually rode on top of Burke for a little bit there, as you saw on the replay just now. So a big accident here once again at Phoenix as we see cars in the pit lane looking to get service as Wupker stays out. So Jeff Wupker to the lead. Guys pretty much coming off of pit road the same way they came on. 8.2 second stops for both Siefker and Brinson, as you saw on the bottom of your screen. And those two getting out 1 and 2. They will be 2 and 3 on track right now unless Wupker decides to bring it down pit road here, which he does not. I believe that's Brazington that just entered pit lane right there. It was between, and there's Nunez, who had gotten the wave around, so he couldn't pit last time. Pits this time. There you see on your screen right now how long these guys have been on these sets of tires. Now, these numbers are a little skewed. There have been a lot of caution laps put on these tires. So while it shows Siefker had 61 laps on his previous set of tires, there were a good amount of caution laps that were put on those tires as well. So it's not 61 laps of stress necessarily, but those things did 61 circuits around the track, as well as Kieran Brigelli, who's sitting in fourth place right now. Same situation. And and with that pit stop to go on to that pit window, Jeff Wubker being the only one that didn't pit here. Everyone else, though, is within that window as Wubker takes the outside to where they can make it on just the last stop. Our graphics department got the finally made the change. Safety truck in this lap. Only 16 drivers remain in this race. Jeff Wubker's, Nate Siefker, the top two. Of those who are no longer participating in this race, Carl Burke, Sam Cooper Bennett, Kevin O'Brien, Michael Sturgill, Ronnie Osmer, and Cal Lorcher are no longer participating. As we get set to go green once again here, it's going to be Jeff Wubker on the outside lane leading them down, and he will take us to the green. Yeah, he's got watches Jeff Wubker as well, holding that outside lane through 1 and 2. Brinson shoots the middle, and he's going to make it work as Wubker had to back way out of it to keep them out of the wall. Yep, there he goes. Siefker's in the wall. Caution has not yet flown. Now we have one spinning. That's Bates. And now the caution is out. I think Brinson said no more Mr. Nice Guy with those two moves. He said he's fine. I'm finally working my way up. And boy, you saw it. And we'll try to ride on board with Brinson for this replay. So we'll try to get the look here. That was on board with Timothy Bates, and Bates had just spun off of the apron. Now we'll try to get a look here at this from Brinson's point of view. As this might not be the greatest replay work here, but we'll see what we can get. As Brinson goes into turn 1, boy, I don't know. That might be netcode because it didn't look like. No. It must have been just the view. That must have just been the view from the gyro cam that we were watching that onboard replay on. It didn't look like it, but then again, on that gyro cam, because of the new aero screen on these cars, you really can't see the nose cone anymore. So that playing a factor in that replay. But and in all of that mess, Kieran Brigelli had came out the leader. And and unfortunately for Stiefker, it's probably the worst time that this could have happened because, as Tyler said, there's only a couple of laps left here. There's only about 33 laps left, and from what we've seen, just as a race trend, we have not seen too many green flag laps for Stiefker to be able to make up that position. So this could be devastating for the man who has led a vast majority of this race. I could tell you about 10 guys that don't care that he's already burned his fast repair in front of him. Uh, Teammates, yes. But still, you're fighting for the win no matter who you're fighting. As I believe lights are about to go out on the safety truck here. I believe Karen Brugelli is going to be only about the fourth different guy to restart this race. So I know because it's been Siefker, it's been Wubker. I know there was yeah Crumry and now Brugelli. So this race has been well in the hands of Siefker, which makes that incident there doubly devastating. Uh, from what I'm getting now, I'm hearing we have some more technical difficulties here. We're going to try to sort this out here really quick as we go to green. The sound might momentarily cut out here as we restart as Kieran Brugelli gets to the lead. There's Hollingsworth, and you see Hollingsworth is going to be getting to Brugelli here. We're going to have a momentary break in the audio here. I do apologize for this. Again, still trying to work some of the kinks out with my first broadcast here on the run. Oh boy, and Butch Davis almost there goes Butch Davis. Managed to keep it straight. He lost that front wing. He lost the left side of the front wing, but he managed to keep it straight. Still no caution as we get close to 25 to go here. Yeah, Crumry. And Crumry just got into the wall badly, coming off of 4, allowing Ludwig to get by, keeping Nunez and Wubker at bay. Up front, you're not missing much. There's Kieran Brigelli, followed by Jeff Hollingsworth, Scott Brinson, and caution is out. And it's just now Butch Davis missing that whole wing now as we look at the replay as to what happened, and just it's that lack of downforce that you have by missing that half a wing, and it just shoved Davis. It just shoved Davis. Could not. My apologies. Trying to focus on 3 different things at once here. Just could not get that car turned down, and I believe he actually just hit the wall again here as he's still trying to get back up to the queue, so he's not losing too much time making these repairs. Oh, that was not kosher as Davis and Alvarez get into it. See here, this is gyro cam from Alvarez, and there's the shunt from behind. Try to get on board with Butch Davis here right now as Davis, here he comes around, and Davis, I'll give him a little bit of credit. He didn't just completely run over him. He did put it down into first gear, but it really doesn't matter, does it? Good amount of cars in the pits here. Paul Crumry in the pits here. It's Antonucci in the pits. Mark Robertson, Ernie Ludwig, Mark McFadden in the pits as well. Raul Alvarez in the pits after the extracurricular activity with Davis. So there's Butch Davis parked, which is a shame. He did have a good car, and I don't think he would have done that had he not had if he had a fast repair in pocket. I think he knew his car was done and decided to unfortunately end it that way. Yeah, this has been an incident-filled race for certain, as we're about to take 21 laps to go here under caution here at Phoenix once again, a state that we've been in for a majority of this race. Just to reset the field here for you, Kieran Brigelli in the lead with Jeff Hollingsworth behind him, Scott Brinson, Nate Siefker, Luis Nunez, Jeff Wubker, Timothy Bates, Chris Walker, Paul Crumry, Johnny Antonucci. The top 10, Mark Robertson, Ernie Ludwig, and Mark McFadden round out the lead lap cars. And then it's Raul Alvarez and Dan Brazington to round out the top 15. And those are the only 15 still remaining in this race. Yeah, we have heard that a lot. As we'll try to get to Brigelli. Unless this cockpit cam is lying to us, he is not. So we're going to restart with 20 laps to go here at Phoenix International Raceway, as we had just reset the field. So it'll be Brigelli from Hollingsworth. The top two, Nate Siefker on the outside with Scott Brinson on the inside. Pace truck is off. And we are rolling again here at Phoenix. Yeah, freshest tires out of everyone without a doubt, and he got one of the best starts you could have seen up on that outside, and here he comes right on to Kieran Brigelli just 2 laps after the restart. And hopefully with less cars in the field as well, give these guys a little bit more room. As you're watching Nate Siefker here trying to catch up to Kieran Brigelli. He's got Jeff Hollingsworth right behind him. Then about a 7th to 8th, 10th gap back to Scott Brinson, who currently occupies the 4th position. That followed by Luis Nunez, who had an end-of-the-line penalty earlier in this race, has recovered nicely from that. It's Timothy Bates and Chris Walker both running together pretty much where they have been the entirety of this night. As there you see, we're focusing right now on Timothy Bates and that green and purple machine. Still nothing doing up front, still close, but not as close as it was. Jeff Hollingsworth, as we take a look now, as Nunez looks low on Brinson, and they might have come together going into turn 1. Yeah, that one definitely got close. Yikes. And that's not something you can do in these cars with too much success, as we ride on board now with Timothy Bates on our gyro cam as he rides behind Scott Brinson. Is now starting to fall back from Nunez. And Nunez, we could have expected this from Nunez. He had a very quick car at the beginning of this race, had that end-of-the-line penalty put him in the back. And since then, he's been trying to fight his way up, and he finally has up into 4th. You see the lap history between these two. Nate Siefker, the last 3 laps has been a little bit quicker than Kieran Brigelli, and you can see as this gap has started to close down as we come now to 10 laps to go here at Phoenix. Nate Siefker ran a 20.515 last time, is now falling quite dramatically off the back of Kieran Brigelli, who, remember, Brigelli does not have the better tires of these two. Brigelli actually, as we take a look at the tire stints, he's got about 8 more laps on those set of tires, but he had that all-important track position, and Siefker having to go through the field might have burnt his up a little bit more than Brigelli, who's been in the lead this whole time. And we're coming down now to 6 laps to go. Here's the battle for the lead. Kieran Brigelli and Nate Siefker, 1 and 2. About a second then back to Jeff Hollingsworth, who is currently sitting in third. Then it is Luis Gonzalez Nunez. There you see him at the back end of your screen. And then yep, this is, you're right. The battle for 5th position is Brinson coming under all sorts of fire from Timothy Bates as we have just a couple of laps to go here at Phoenix. As Bates now trying to hold off Walker as he doesn't get the best run he can out of 3. Gets a good run through 1 and 2. Just has to fall back, and that puts him right into the clutches of Walker. You are 100% correct. 3 laps to go. Kieran Brigelli in the lead. Here he is. Nate Siefker falling off the back of him. Hollingsworth holding steady in 3rd position. But Nunez is catching up to him at a rapid pace as we go. Brigelli rounding turn 4. He will take the white flag. Kieran Brigelli using pit strategy to get up to the front, had been running in the midfield pretty much the entirety of this race with Nate Siefker bearing down on him. It's going to be the pit strategy and the track position that's going to win the day for Kieran Brigelli here at Phoenix. So there you have it. It has been quite an interesting night here at Phoenix. A lot of incidences, a little bit of extracurricular activity as well. One less pre-celebration Gatorade shower for Nate Siefker at least. And there you see our winner here this evening, Kieran Brigelli, in that number 98 machine. We will try to get him in here as soon as we can. All right, so Tony, take it away with Kieran. Unfortunately, I've been told that we're still having these audio issues, and unfortunately, they just seem to be persisting. So, unfortunately, there we couldn't bring you that interview. Uh, we were going to try our best to get it out for next week. So unfortunately, we're not going to be doing any more post race interviews here. As we're gonna wrap it up here as we go to the race results. Kieran Bergelli gets the win. Nate Seifker, who had the dominant car all night long, ends up coming home in second. Jeff Hollingsworth, Luis Nunez, Scott Brinson, Timothy Bates, Chris Walker, Jeff Wubker, Mark Robertson, Johnny Antonucci round out the top 10. Ernie Ludwig, Paul Crumry, and Mark McFadden, who had a quiet race tonight, is the last car to finish on the lead lap. Raul Alvarez finishes P14, one lap down. Dan Brazington coming home in 15th, 2 laps down. Butch Davis, who was removed from the race after an incident with Raul Alvarez late in the race, finishes 16th. Carl Burke coming home in 17th. Sam Cooper Bennett 18th. Kevin O'Brien 19th. Michael Sturgill coming home in 20th. Had a strong car at the beginning of the race. Same with Ronnie Osmer not finishing. And Cal Lorcher coming home in P22. So again, I do apologize for the audio issues. We will hopefully have them figured out by this time next week to bring you next week's Top Fuel event at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. I do want to thank all of you very much for joining. For Tony Trapasso and Tyler Vickery, I'm Frank Marchese. Thank you very much for watching us here tonight, and we will see you next